Good evening. I swear my mind always goes blank the second I hit record. Like, what was I doing? But yeah, um, let's start by talking about doing 100 days of this. Because I can say that now. It's all been updated, it's all been uploaded, all that good stuff. This is 101. Yeah. So, aside from when I was originally doing different Let's Plays, like back in 2014 or something like that, which even that, I wouldn't say I committed to as well, because I played a bunch of different games and only 4 are done. So, like, all of the Metroid games, the entire Metroid trilogy is up on my channel, and Metroid Fusion, which I recorded my first time ever playing that game. But like, I started doing Thousand Year Door and I never finished it. I started doing Mario Galaxy 2 and I never finished it. That might be it, actually. There was like a short series of Hyrule Warriors on there, but I was like high on sinus medication and Benadryl, so I don't really count that as a whole series. But even then, it wasn't really something I was doing every single day, even when the uploads were every day. I would actually just mass upload and schedule things like a week or 2 ahead of time. And I can't really do that with this. So this is like probably one of the few things that I've ever said I'm gonna do this every day and have actually followed through with it. Now maybe the argument could be made that it's an easy one. It's literally just an audio video journal. The only commitment is doing it. There's no like, I don't hold myself to a specific quality. I mean, just look. In the last 2 weeks, I gave myself an excuse to transition to doing this in bed, so that when I lay down at night and go, crap, I don't have to get back up and go to my chair. Just do it here. But still, 101 days ago is when I decided I wanted to do this. And it's kind of cool that after all this time I'm still doing it. I can't even be trusted to keep contact with people on a daily basis. I feel like I gave my friends on Discord a bit of a false sense of who I am socially, because I was so overly deprived of any social interaction that I probably over socialized, and now I've hit that rubber banding phase where I'm still bouncing back and forth, and I haven't settled down yet. Like, I stick my head in and say stupid stuff or leave links to different things outside of just doing this every day. But like, I just haven't worked up the mental capacity to hop back into a stream in quite a while. And don't get me wrong, that's not all, you know, extreme levels of mental health. You know, it's not like, oh, I just can't talk to people today. It's not always that. You know, a lot of the distance started around the time I picked up Calamity, Age of Calamity. There it is. So I was, you know, every day enveloped in a story game. And then Age of Calamity kind of transitioned fairly easily into. There was a little bit of a gap, but for the most part, it transitioned directly into Death Stranding, which transitioned directly into Xenoblade Chronicles, which transitioned pretty seamlessly into Hades, I think. Yeah, I think Hades. And then now TSO2. So I've just been keeping myself busy. You know, Xenoblade aside, which I had played before, but it had been long enough that, like, I only really remembered the rough outline, and even that it was only really up to a certain point. Like, a lot of the finer points of the ending just kind of escaped me. But still, I was getting super deep into it for the first time, I think. And, you know, like I said, the first time I played it, I got about halfway through, felt myself wanting to quit. And so I opened up basically what would be considered easy mode by just applying experience multipliers. I was also refusing to play around with the characters, really, and so, don't get me wrong, I still settled into a fairly definite party by the end of my most recent playthrough, but I played around playing as a lot of different characters instead of just having them in my party, which meant parties without Shulk. Which actually led to, I won't say who because it's a bit of a spoiler, but a character that I paid no attention to battle-wise actually being one of my favorite characters to play with. So, that's a long-winded way of saying that despite having played it before, it had my undivided attention. You know, it's kind of where I am with Phantasy Star Online right now. And so I'm kind of hoping, I don't want to rush it, but I'm kind of hoping to finish up the story in a few days. Because once I've done that, that's very easily something I can play in the background while hanging out with my friends. That's been a big thing. Like, you know, when I was playing Hades, I was very much playing it for the story. I couldn't just have something going on in the background. And, well, why do you need something in the background while you're watching your friend play a game? Well, half the time, my internet's too crap to actually have the video up. So, I'm kind of just, instead of it being like hanging out on the couch with a friend, which is what you would hope from a stream, it's more like everyone else is on the couch and I'm in the next room. And we can communicate fine because, like, there's a window or something, but I can't see the TV. So, I can hear it, kind of, depending on who's streaming. But more often than not, I unfortunately can't really watch because my internet is a dick. So, you know, I kind of already end up feeling a little left out. So if I don't preoccupy with myself with something, I end up, and don't get me wrong, this is entirely self-imposed. You know what I mean? This is just my own brain hating me and, like, looking for excuses to not be social. That was a tangent. Let's see. I had a productive day chore-wise today. Mom and Dad took Coco to the vet because despite everything we've done, her ears are still terrible. Like, she's fine. She doesn't care. Um, she has a cough and her ears stink, but she's fine. Like, neither of them seem to bother her. She doesn't appear to be in any discomfort. Like, the cough doesn't keep her up. She lays down, it goes away. You know. It's pretty much just when she's up running around. Because she can't let anybody be in the kitchen without supervision. But, like, it doesn't keep her awake or anything. And she's doesn't seem to be in any pain or anything. But, and, like, her ears don't seem to hurt her, but they stink to high heaven. So they took her back today, and they actually took a culture and had to send it off to be analyzed. So, like, it's not just us not being good at keeping a dog. Like, there's actually a problem. Because we've tried a bunch of things since, God, I think last September. Longer than I've been doing this, that's for sure. But anyway, the point being, they were gone for a few hours. So I swept them up the kitchen and dusted and vacuumed the den, which, the way our house is set up, is kind of all one big room, just split in half. The den being what most people call the living room. But yeah, that took, you know, there's a certain angle that I sweep and mop at, and it's not because the broom or the mop is too short, but just something about it makes it easier to, like, I do it kind of hunched over, and I think it's because of getting that extra little range. I don't know. I don't know why I do it. But it's a hard position to hold, and I was pathetically exhausted by the time I was done. Which just serves as a testament to how little I do these days. But either way, it felt good to get all that done, and then, you know, it was really, really nice today. Just the right temperature, nice little breeze, so I spent the day with my window up, and that was very nice. Kept it up till the sun was getting ready to come down. It was this massive fly in my room for a little while, though. I don't know, he might still be in here. It's fine, he'll be dead in a few hours, I'm sure. But, like, it was concerning. Like, he wasn't bothering me or anything, he was just flying around near the ceiling trying to figure out how to get back out. But he was like so big that I couldn't tell it was just a fly at first. And it happened right in the middle of me participating in a giant event quest that was going on in Phantasy Star. So couldn't pause, high difficulty, because I was doing it for leveling. So the higher difficulty, the better the levels. So I couldn't really stop and deal with this big bug flying around my room, which may or may not just be a fly, or it might be a bee. Not that I'd be afraid of it, but I definitely want to get it back out as soon as possible, because I wouldn't want it to end up, like, managing to die in here somehow. I had that giant floor fan. God, it would have just been my luck that, you know, the one bug that I'm concerned about dying flies in and gets splattered all over my floor fan. God, that would just be so sad. See, I was like trying. I was on, on one hand trying to both be productive and not die in this quest, which was a clusterfuck because it was, it's intended for 8 to 12 people. So like it's constant madness already, and on top of that, I'm attempting to identify this this giant thing flying around my room. Yeah, like I said, he might still be. I don't know if he found his way back out or not. He might still be in here. He might have left my room when the door was open at some point and is currently being confused in other parts of the house. I don't know. If it's a fly, it'll be dead in a day. Or something like that. So, I'm not too concerned. I'm pretty sure it was just a fly, though. Worst case scenario, it was a horsefly. But I think it would have assaulted me by now. So, some suckers bite and it hurts. So, but if it was a horsefly, it was really small. It was either a really big normal fly or a really, really small horsefly. But anyway, that about sums up the day for me, I think. So yeah, here's to well over 100 more. Catch you all tomorrow.